Could have something, may try to spin up here. We may have had something like that happen across northern Hale County. Jill, let's show the big picture here, show what's going on for folks further east. We are seeing some counties trimmed away from the tornado watch. Maybe we can take this menu off. There we go. And you can see to the north there's Coleman County, but to the west, some improving weather for Winston, Marion, Fayette, Lamar, and Pickens counties. Those counties trimmed away. And all that greatest instability has been moving a bit further south, and we just been monitoring along this line. We could have an isolated warning or two that pops up, but it looks like the more significant impacts with respect to the threat of tornadoes is shifting further south. You can see there around Thomasville and into Marengo County. There's Monroeville, that's Conecuh County. So a lot of places in southwest Alabama dealing with tornado warnings at this point. But these storms are getting closer to the city of Birmingham, back over to the radar view, and you can see where all that heavy rain is falling. We'll bring that up for you. There's Birmingham. And again, the leading edge of the heavier stuff getting closer to Jefferson County. Right now there's Jasper. If we can kind of take this from north to south, we'll start it out around Coleman County, and just a steady rain happening. Nothing really concerning to me right now across Coleman County. Jasper, just a lot of rain, some lightning, some rumbles of thunder in here. The storm of the moment, this went over Tuscaloosa downtown area. You can see that thing really looks suspicious there on the radar, and that's continuing to the north. Let's see, here's Bessemer right here, Oak Grove, Toadvine areas. So this will clip parts of Jefferson County, this storm, as it moves north. But it is moving into an environment where we do have a lot of rain happening. Hopefully that will weaken this storm as it continues tracking to the north and east. Things further south seem to be behaving. And hopefully very soon we'll be able to trim away more of these counties from that tornado watch. It looks like that watch is going to remain in effect for our central counties here until 11 o'clock. Jill, are you mic'd up there? Maybe we can come to you. I wanted to check in with what we're seeing from the National Weather Service, because we did see that severe thunderstorm warning that was issued. What are we seeing right now?
Yeah, Wes, new reports keep coming in regarding whether or not we had a potential tornado that briefly touched down. Highway 69, we're getting reports, is shut down with debris and damage to some homes. So again, this could have been a tornado that went through close to the Moundville area. So that's why we're watching this storm very closely. It is a severe warned storm. That doesn't mean it can't produce a tornado. Okay, so it's like included in that possible tornado, but primary threat, damaging straight line winds and possible hail. So again, we have been looking back at this storm. When it moved through the Moundville area, it looked very suspicious on velocity data. We were seeing little bits of rotation. They don't last very long, but could have been enough that we briefly might have had a tornado near the Moundville area. Again, folks trying to gather any information they can, any reports from that area. But for now, we have a severe thunderstorm warning. We'll watch this very closely because, again, these things can quickly rotate and spin up and produce a tornado. So I'll shift over to the Birmingham radar. We're going to just make sure there's no real strong rotation being depicted. So right now we're seeing, again, you get your stronger winds over the Beach Hills area, Hillsward, Old Mill Trace, and very, very weak rotation right now. So it's not as intense as it once was. And again, we continue to monitor for potential reports. We'll watch this very closely. Again, we're in an environment still. There's a lot of wind shear. Still have a tornado watch in effect. So that means that conditions are favorable for tornadoes to even develop. So again, that watch in effect in this area until this main line clears. Once this whole area clears, we will see eventually Tuscaloosa removed from that county. But right now, that's where the strongest storm is setting up at this point in time. The storms to the north of that area across Walker County. Yes, it is storming there. We can actually take a live view and see what is happening in Jasper. We'll take a look at this photo real quick, or live view, excuse me. And certainly a lot of rain coming down. We got the downtown camera. Again, a more ominous looking view there. Just rain, soggy conditions. It's really Tuscaloosa that we're seeing again. Some of the more intense gusty winds. Let me step out of the way. You might want to take that full because again, we're seeing some of those strong winds. Right now you can see the sheets of rain moving across the camera view there. I mean, it is coming down. We're going to have to watch out for flooding. That potential could easily develop, but this is happening right now. You can see that camera starting to shake. This is the view from Tuscaloosa Woods and Water. Again, we've got a severe thunderstorm warning for this area. So you could see those winds in excess of 60 miles per hour. We've seen a lot of horizontal rain. It is coming down in buckets right now. We've seen a lot of lightning with this storm, which usually is an indicator of its intensity. So it's one to watch right now. It is the only storm that is severe thunderstorm warned. Again, these are the kind of conditions you'll see as this moves through. Not good weather to head out and travel. Wait for this to pass, because this is packing a punch. Visibility really dropping in this area. So again, we're watching the live view of what's happening right now in Tuscaloosa. We've been watching this storm. It has had potentially a history of producing a little bit of damage with it. But right now, not a tornado warning, a severe thunderstorm warning for Tuscaloosa. And Wes, we will send it over to you to see if you have anything.
Yeah, I've been following up with folks. They're trying to get a magnitude of what we're seeing here. A lot of these reports coming in, and so far looks like right now I'm getting reports of just some minor issues, some siding removed. Looks like a couple of those reports there, but we'll continue to follow up. We have the news team checking out. But one of the reasons why we're with you here, we're going to stay with you to the top of the hour for a severe thunderstorm warning that's now in effect for the city of Tuscaloosa. This storm really grabbing our attention here as it moved through Hale County. It really tried to spin up there. We had a report of a wall cloud near Havana Junction. At this point, the main concern is that risk for some damaging straight line winds, and severe storms are what produce tornadoes. So many times in a situation like this, we could have a brief tornado. That actually is included in that risk for a severe thunderstorm warning. When you see that, what Jill's placed on the map, you're seeing those arrival times, those first alert times. Wyndham Springs around 7:26 on this storm. I will tell you the lightning has backed off a little bit. I like that. That is a promising sign, the lightning frequency. And this is becoming more embedded in an area where we have a lot of rain. But you can see that storm is embedded in this rain. There is some rotation with this. There's an inflow notch showing up. You can see that band to the south all tracking through the Stokes area. This is moving rather quickly. You can see it's moving north-northeast at 48 miles per hour and some strong indications. Jill, let's get in really close. Let's zoom in really close here. Let's see. There's Interstate 59. There's 20. So let me see. There's Buttermilk Road. So what we're looking at, let me just get my bearings here. We're looking at, okay, here's McFarland Boulevard. So there's McFarland. Here's Highway 11. This is Skyland Boulevard. You can see Hargrove Road. This is Woodland Forest down in this area. So where the actual rotation is, right in... Okay, so we got a tornado warning now that has been issued here. So that is for Tuscaloosa County. Tuscaloosa County, tornado warning. We're going to stay with you right here, giving you that first alert. This is that one storm that's really had our attention. There's Highway 216 right now where this tornado would be. This is what has our attention here. This is at 5 points. Okay, if you're watching me at 5 points here in Tuscaloosa, get to that safe place. Lynn Haven subdivision. I'm talking about you right there off of Highway 11 and the 5 points area. We're talking Cottondale here, okay? Cottondale area, 5 points. Alberta City, there is that warning, giving you the first alert here in Tuscaloosa for an active tornado warning that we have at this time. We're getting some reports now. We've been with you here for about 15 minutes on this storm. Some things we've been seeing there across northern Hale County, some reports coming in. This is Highway 216 to Brookwood. This is 5 points in Tuscaloosa County. We're zoomed in really close. Jill's putting some times of arrival on there, 7:19. You can see around 7:17 for the Searles area. But what you're looking at is a storm that's producing a tornado here over Tuscaloosa County, moving north-northeast at 48 miles per hour. Some counties, Coleman, by the way, has been removed from the tornado watch, but we're also now in an active tornado warning for Tuscaloosa County. We've got some reports here for just getting some more reports around the Moundville area. That's where we had some reports of possible damage from this storm there moving to the north and east. You can see around Canyon Lakes, Old Mill Trace area, Deepwood area, they're tracking to the north. If you're watching me in Brookwood and Peterson, get to that safe place. 5 points here in Cottondale. That's where this is located. Now, if you're watching me around the University of Alabama campus over to Alberta City and anywhere around 5 points, want you in that safe spot until this thing passes by. This is a dangerous storm at this point that is moving through Tuscaloosa County, and now the city of Tuscaloosa proper being impacted as this tracks to the north and east into Tuscaloosa. I want to also mention that if you're watching me around, I mentioned 5 points, but also Peterson and the Brookwood areas. along Highway 216 at this point. I mentioned the Lynn Haven subdivision. Lynn Haven, you'll be impacted by this. Again, your weather radio is probably going off. I know we had a severe thunderstorm warning that was in effect, but that's now been upgraded, okay, for Tuscaloosa County. That has now been upgraded to a tornado warning. The way this thing is moving, I just want to mention this is going to be crossing very close to Tuscaloosa Memorial Park right now, right around Stone Creek Apartments, Hurricane Creek Park, Kennedy Mill Road as it moves to the northeast. Where we're zoomed in at this point, you can see on the eastern side of town. I remember years ago there was actually a tornado that went through this area, and there was a picture on the front page of the Tuscaloosa News. The vehicles were actually in the top of the grocery store there at 5 points. This is a very active zone here when it comes to severe weather tracking through this part of our state. And right here in Tuscaloosa, we're certainly no stranger to weather like this. Just get to that safe spot. Stand by. We will let you know once that warning expires here across Tuscaloosa County. Just stay with us. And by the way, we're on the radio. Now's the time. If you're watching me on television, you need to get to that safe place, get to that interior room, avoid windows. If you're listening to me on the radio, 94.1, 98.1 here in Tuscaloosa area, I want you right now trying to get to a site-built structure. You don't need to be in a vehicle right now. This is on top of you. You need to be getting to a site-built structure, a convenience store nearby, somewhere to a structure you can get in, get away from those windows. And all the businesses in this area, by the way, at this point need to be enacting their tornado safety procedures right now. Anywhere here around the 5 Points area. There's Alberta City, actually. So Crescent Ridge Road, that's another area. Holt to Crescent Ridge Road, and also in Alberta City. That is where this is crossing. There's Summerfield. There's Hurricane Hills. I mentioned Highway 216 in here. Tuscaloosa Memorial Park's back in this area. Hurricane Creek. There's Peterson. Mentioned Brookwood. You're going to be in the path of this possible tornado, but it is showing up. This thing's been going through some cycles here as it's moved to the north and out of Hale County. At this point, I will tell you this, Jill, if we pan to the north a little bit, it seems like the greatest risk now has passed just to the north of Skyland Boulevard. This is what we're concerned about right in here. Let's get in really tight on this, Jill. That is right at Alberta City. Looks like this is crossing. That's Highway 11 and Alberta City, and that's basically University Boulevard. That turns into University Boulevard there through 5 Points. There's a First Street Northeast. Jill's really zoomed in here over Tuscaloosa, so all these neighborhoods, we want to make sure we give all these neighborhoods that first alert. The Woodmont area, Summerfield, I mentioned Lynn Haven. There's Hurricane Hills community back in this general vicinity, so you're in the path of this in Deepwood. If I'm calling your area out, you need to be at this point in that concrete reinforced safe room, interior room, your tornado safety plan. Right now you need to be in that spot until we give you the all clear, because this is closing in quickly here, moving to the north and east, and you can see almost to the Peterson area. There's Fleetwood and again Highway 216 there. So Hurricane Creek Park, I mentioned a few moments ago, if you're around Stone Creek Apartments and Kennedy Mill Road areas there to the north, you will be impacted. And so we got an update on this, Jill. We can click right there and we can get those first alert times for you. Brookwood, if you're watching me, giving you that first alert here in Brookwood, there's 728, 714 for Peterson, Fleetwood 716, Brookwood at 728. It is 705 right now, and this is going to be reaching the East Brookwood area about 734 on this tornado warning. And from the National Weather Service, that actual tornado warning that has been issued, that will be in effect until 7:45. So tornado warning for Tuscaloosa until 7:45. And you see there, moving further north, there's Canyon Lakes, Fleetwood, Brookwood areas all impacted. Okay, let's back this out a little bit. I want to show you where this is with respect to downtown Tuscaloosa. So here's Interstate 5920. There's 359, Skyland Boulevard, the area back in here where we have the movie theater and Lowe's, all that's located right in this area. There's 359 downtown Tuscaloosa. Here's McFarland Boulevard, okay? So McFarland and just past the Tuscaloosa VA, you get out here, there's Highway 11, and this is the 5 Points area, and that's where we're seeing right now the strongest indication. Some intense lightning right now here at WBRC Fox 6. The storms now closing in on the Birmingham area. Jill, you know, here soon we probably need to take a look at what's going on here a little bit closer to Birmingham as well, because we're going to have some storms and some heavy rain moving in very soon. No active warnings, and I just want to say we're zoomed in right now over Tuscaloosa because this is the only warning that we have at this time. And I say if I don't call your town, your community, that is a good thing when I'm not calling out those areas, because that means you're not in an immediate warning or an immediate risk for a tornado or some damaging winds. The area that we're focused in on right now is back into West Alabama. We jumped on here a little while ago because we did have several reports coming in over northern Hale County, possibly some damage. There were some reports of some minor damage that might have happened there around the Moundville area from that storm that moved to the north. And at this point, just checking to see if we have any additional information. Jill, I know you're monitoring things as well there from Tuscaloosa. Let's go back. Can we go back to Woods and Water, go back to that camera and check out the view? We may need to actually move that camera. Let me see if I can pan around to the north, because we're looking right now to the west direction. This is a live view from Tuscaloosa. That's Woods and Water. That storm and that possible tornado would have passed right here very close to Woods and Water. And if we look back to the we're actually south of us, south of that storm. It may be kind of difficult, of course, at this time of the evening to see a tornado, but it would be generally moving in that direction there to the north and east, and just a soaking rain right now in Tuscaloosa. And once this passes, those conditions will greatly stabilize, and we're going to see this severe weather threat start to settle down here across parts of Tuscaloosa County over the next hour or so as we get more of a steady rain that builds in across the area. So at this point, it's 7:08. First Alert Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt, and it is a First Alert weather day. We're still tracking, you know, in the grand scheme of things, a lot of what we've seen today, a lot of these warnings and severe thunderstorm warnings, we haven't seen a lot of damage reports with some of that active weather tonight. You know, we're still trying to assess what's happening here with this particular storm over Tuscaloosa County, but there have been some tornado warnings that we've seen earlier today, and especially some of the ones around Sumter County didn't see a lot of reports. Of course, that's more of a less populated zone there into parts of southwest part of the coverage area, but it is kind of interesting. We do have the wind energy with some of these storms. We've seen a lot of rotation, but the question mark has been the amount of instability. Dew points have been a little bit lower for these areas further north and further south. That seems to be where we have the most volatile air that's currently in place. Several warnings across South Alabama at the moment, and this is moving into a region. You can see a lot of rain in Birmingham now. We just had a flash here where the power flickered at the station because we do have some lightning happening around the city of Birmingham. As you can see there, detecting some strikes. So we got some storms now starting to impact the area. If you do hear some rumbles, and I know we're on right now with this tornado warning, there are no active warnings right now for the city of Birmingham or Shelby County. But we are watching into Tuscaloosa County here, and Jonathan Hardison standing by right now. Jonathan, we're monitoring this storm now, tornado possibly approaching Brookwood. Let's just keep the radar going as we talk to you, and tell us what you're learning right now out of Hale County.
Yeah, what we're seeing from some reports on the ground early in Hale County, and by the way, I want to let you know, Wes, you may be learning this as our viewers do, that our WBRC Fox 6 Storm Tracker is en route to Moundville right now with our veteran team of meteorologist Fred Hunter and photojournalist Mike Tucker in tow. They're close. They're on their way there to Moundville right now to give us some hopefully live pictures and ground truth as well. Let me take you to what we're seeing, though, so far. This is from Brandon Richards, who tweeted this to us here at WBRC and to you, Wes. This, he says, is some of the damage from what could have been a tornado, or at least some severe wind damage along Highway 69 south of Moundville. You see that telltale signs of some limbs bent over here and some of that debris washed up and blown into the tree line there. This, again, structural damage there to a building in Moundville. Also hearing some reports of some damage to at least one mobile home there along the Highway 69 corridor there in Hale County, just south of Moundville. We were just talking yesterday. Our Brian Henry was in Hale County talking to folks there who were hit by a tornado just a couple of weeks ago, still trying to rebuild from all that. And now, of course, worried about what they're seeing here. From the Tuscaloosa County EMA, our Catherine Patterson just getting this to us. Now 1,600 people without power. They're getting reports of quarter-sized hail in the Alberta City area and some trees down throughout the county. So again, Tuscaloosa County EMA telling our Catherine Patterson 1,600 folks so far don't have power. They're seeing quarter-size hail in Alberta City, and there are trees down across the county west. That's what we're seeing so far.
All right, Jonathan, so there we go. We got the reports coming in now. Jonathan, keep following along there. We'll check back in with you as we gather those reports coming in from Melville. We're looking right now at Tuscaloosa, an active tornado warning until 7:45. If you're listening to me right now in Tuscaloosa, you need to be, if you're anywhere around 5 points, and I tell you what, this thing, I'm looking at some data here. This is moving towards Eagle Cove Marina. If you know where that's at, Eagle Cove Marina. Let me go back over to the interactive. I want to take control here of the radar. Let's see if I can move some things around. Jill, do we have this activated? Let me, Jill, you can jump in here while I get this thing activated over here.
Yeah, what we have set up on radar right now, Wes is making sure that we can get that so he can interact with it. But right now we are seeing, again, a tornado warning. This has had a history of producing some damage. Of course, we won't know until the next day once the Weather Service goes out and assesses the damage, whether or not it was from a tornado. So it looks like you got control there, Wes.
Yeah, I've got control here. I just wanted to make sure I could move the radar so we can kind of walk through this. I want to kind of go through this together with you and show you some of these times for arrival. These are the first alert times, Three Forks around 7:39. If this holds together, it could reach places like Toadvine around 7:41 on this, around Little Shoal around 7:36. Want to check out the, we're going to do some analysis on this particular storm here. We'll look at the velocity and still seeing some broad rotation with this. Look at the shear rate. Yeah, you can see in there around Brookwood especially. If you're watching me in Brookwood, this is where that tornado would be located right now. There's Highway 216, okay, the Brookwood area. Let's get in here to some of the streets and some of the roadways. There is Covered Bridge Road into Brookwood, okay, Covered Bridge Road. That's where we have the indications here of some of those higher winds and a possible tornado at the moment. And Jill, be monitoring the, I'll let you check out that debris indicator. Make sure we're watching to see if there might be, sometimes with these things, with the radar technology that we have, we can determine if the tornado is actually lofted debris, kind of like having a virtual spotter, and we can, that can tell us obviously a lot about these storms. There's H&B Lane, also talking about the Houghton area. So anywhere, Houghton, Brookwood, Highway 216, Covered Bridge Road, and also around H&B Lane here as this storm tracks to the north. So we've got also here some information. The Birmingham Weather Service, they are going to continue that tornado warning until 7:45, and they're also noting near Brookwood or about 8 miles to the east of Holt. So again, if you're watching in Tuscaloosa, the strongest indication of a tornado that we have at the moment right here in the Brookwood area, right here crossing Highway 216 around Brookwood. You need to be in that storm shelter. You need to be away from, not in a vehicle, away from windows, in a site-built structure at this point as this tornado warning happens here in Tuscaloosa County going until 7:45. If we follow this along, we've been talking about the Peterson areas, Covered Bridge Road, also Brookwood, impacted by this storm as it continues moving to the north and east direction. Here's the radar view when we back this way out and we show you what's going on. That is the only active warning that we have. We also have a severe thunderstorm warning here for Tuscaloosa because this one in general is producing some gusty winds. I want to go back in, kind of reset the scene here just a bit. Let me take some of this off the screen, but you can notice that if we get in here to Tuscaloosa, this is downtown, University of Alabama campus. There's McFarland. I know we've had some trouble spots with respect to flooding around McFarland. Let's be extra careful, especially out here around the hospital as all this rain continues to fall. The actual tornado has lifted now further north and east. Here's the Warrior River. We also have places like the Bryant Bridge here. Looks like it's on past that and past Alberta, and now lifting here closer to Brookwood. The way this is going to track, let me just see here what we're looking at with respect to Lake Tuscaloosa. There's Lake Tuscaloosa there, so this is actually now tracking. This is just south of Lake Nickel and getting very, very close here to the Searles area, Kellerman, those communities there into Tuscaloosa County. There's the track, and here you go with some times of arrival. I mentioned Kellerman, 7:24. There's the first alert time. Birchfield, 7:25. Bull City, that's right on the Tuscaloosa and Jefferson County line. So hopefully, by the time this moves into, driftwood, toadvine areas, hopefully it will weaken a little bit. These storms have been borderline all day long with respect to tornado warnings. Some of them, they've shown some signs of rotation, and you think they may be about to go to that next step, next stage and produce a tornado, and haven't done so. This one in particular decided it ramped up there as it moved into northern Tuscaloosa County. Jill, I noticed you've got another view on this. So let's hop over to Jill here quickly. You're zoomed in, showing some of the velocity data. It looks like it's still very prominent there around Brookwood.
Yeah, it certainly catches our attention. There's a couple of areas, and it really pops out with the shear rate that we really need to watch for it to tighten up. Now, I did see a report, and this is from Storm
Hi, everyone.
Spotters
Meteorologist
out there, and they are tracking this storm. Now, they said about 10 minutes ago they observed a cone with this cone funnel just north of 2059 west of Brookwood around 7:05, and they saw power flashes, and they right now are trying to reposition, get themselves in a position where they can identify and see this storm right now. So again, we're getting different reports. This is out of a different county now, Walker County, maybe multiple trees down, blocking a road just north of Parrish. So again, these storms are producing some damage. It is not the kind of weather where you go out there and try and see it yourself. These are trained professionals that are out there right now trying to get an idea of what's happening. They're going to utilize the lightning once we lose all the daylight. That is what they're going to be doing. An update on the times at which you can be impacted by this tornado that is possible to develop very quickly. So again, we have multiple areas in the path moving off to the northeast. We have Vines Mill by 7:41, but sooner than that, we're talking about Kellerman 7:22, Birchfield 7:23. So you'd be in the path. Again, here's an updated scan. And still seeing a couple areas where this is trying to get its act together. And it is, again, one of those situations where we really have to watch where these little couplets set up. Again, you can get a brief spin up in between the scans. So that's something we want you to be in your safe place. Again, if you're under the tornado warning, you are in your safe place because, again, this has had a history of potentially producing a tornado. So we want you, if you're watching us in Birchfield, Bull City, that you are in your safe place, again, because this could produce a tornado at any moment in time. Again, we are looking off and on at different kind of features here. We have this product. It's the debris detector. Not seeing any debris yet, so that is some good news. We get storm spotters trying to get in position to get a better view of this storm. Again, as we take a look back at the shear rate, again, it really pops up. Now, when we see this signature, this S, that is concerning. That usually means that you probably have a tornado starting to develop, certainly some strong winds. So this is taking on all the characteristics that we usually see when there's a potential tornado. Wes?
Yeah, Jill, and let's get back in here really close on this storm. I want to, let's see, I got the controls here. Okay, so let's clear some of this off. We're zoomed in over Tuscaloosa, active tornado warning until 7:45. So let's talk about where this is at the moment. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to take some of the radar data off so you can see some of the roadways. This is near the Brookwood area, but it's now lifting just to the north of Brookwood. See, there's Brookwood, the tornado indication just north of the heart of Brookwood here. Let's go to the velocity, and I want to get in here a little bit closer. I think this will be a better view here. So I mentioned earlier the Searles area and also Birchfield. You could see the track. Let's put some first alert times. That would put this at Kellerman 7:23. At 7:19, you have minutes here, minutes and seconds to get to that safe place. Right now is not the time to run to the vehicle. Now, by the way, mobile homes, get out of mobile homes. You do not need to be, you need to be in a site-built structure at this point from this storm. You need to be safe. You're safer outside of a mobile home, might not be well anchored. A lot of different structures we see when it comes to manufactured homes where there's a structural failure. Many times in these severe weather situations like this, even with some straight line winds that could be impacting that area. Now, for folks folks that like to enjoy the river out here, get out on the water, you know where Rocky Branch is? This is located very close to Rocky Branch, okay? The way this is moving here to the north, it's now close to the Searles area, Lock 17 Road. If you're watching me there around Lock 17 Road, I want you getting to that tornado safe spot at this point. Again, Lock 17 Road, Hall Road area, Davis Road, as this tracks across Tuscaloosa County. There's the tornado warning, Birchfield area, Franklin Road, and Stanley Road. And that's going to put this close to Bull City. This is the Tuscaloosa, Jefferson County line. Several tornadoes have moved through here. There are some mines in this area. This is a very sparsely populated portion of Tuscaloosa County, but it is one location where we see many, many warnings that can happen in here. When we look at this, the radar data is telling us that we have winds that are moving in all kinds of directions here. We have winds towards, away from the radar site. And anytime you see this, that's one thing we first focus in on, and then we determine is that change in wind direction, that gate-to-gate shear as we call it, is that strong enough to indicate by radar that we could have a tornado here. But given the fact that this storm in particular has a history of producing some damage, and quite honestly right there around Birchfield, that looks still like a storm that's producing a tornado to me right in here. You can see right in that area, and actually let's see if we can move some of this off the screen, but right in that zone there really gets my attention. That is near Birchfield at this point. That's going to put this very close to Bull City here within the next 5 to 10 minutes, okay? So if you're in that area, you need to be getting to that safe place if we call out your community. A lot of rain, a lot of storms, but in the grand scheme of things, when you look at the overall setup across Alabama and you look at the, it's just a lot of rain, this one storm's kind of embedded in here, and I do think that with time, the rain's probably going to win the battle here and help to weaken this a little bit as this continues moving further north. Now, downtown Tuscaloosa, we are in the clear, okay? If you're listening to me here on 98 TXT in the Tuscaloosa area, I just want to let you know downtown Tuscaloosa, University of Alabama campus, Northport, this is to the east of us now. We're concerned with Brookwood, near the Holt area. At this point, it looks like most of this has lifted north of Holt. This is past the Crescent Ridge Road area. This is now tracking over towards Birchfield. This tornado, it would be extremely difficult to see in here with all this rain, but that's moving very close to Jefferson County, and there's a good chance, just based on what this is looking like structurally, it doesn't look nearly as impressive as what we saw a few moments ago, or well, about 15-30 minutes ago when this was moving through Hale County and really grabbed our attention. But we're still on this. Want to bring in, as we state, we need to keep the radar going here. Want to bring in Jonathan Hardison. Jonathan's been assessing in the First Alert newsroom. You know, Jonathan, on these First Alert weather days, you guys are basically an extension of the weather team here as we monitor what's going on out of West Alabama.
Yeah, that's right, Wes. And we've got some new information from the Hale County EMA Director, Russell Wheaton. Of course, we interviewed him just a couple of weeks ago when that tornado came through Sawyerville. Now he tells us, and this is all preliminary, they believe they have about 10 homes with some damage. He says, and I'm quoting here, he told our Catherine Patterson, it looks like a tornado tore through them. And of course, sadly, they're all too familiar with what that would look like. And all that's happening about a mile south of Moundville on County Road 52 down to Highway 69. South of Moundville, we're told one person was trapped but was rescued from that. Let me show you the area we're talking about here. This is from Brandon Richards, who tweeted this to us. Some of the wind damage here along Highway 69 south of Moundville there in Hale County. And again, this is where we believe about 10 homes were damaged. You see some of that debris up into the tree line there. This is where our Fred Hunter and Mike Tucker and the WBRC Fox 6 Storm Tracker are en route as we speak to this area. But again, where we think there may have been a tornado that touched down, the EMA director says 10 homes damaged, one person was trapped, but then eventually rescued from that situation. So that's the good news there. Jill was just tweeting out a couple of seconds ago an update from Tuscaloosa County, where they have now cleared some storm debris on Highway 14 near County Road 75 in Pickensville. Again, from the Tuscaloosa County EMA director, they have about 1,600 folks without power. They're telling Catherine right now, quarter-sized hail in Alberta County and about Alberta City area as well, excuse me. And then this from Hale County Sheriff's Office. These are some of the different areas that you want to avoid right now. Highway 69 between the South Bypass and County Road 46, County Roads 52, Valley View Garden Circle, and Hampton Hills Drive. All of that is in Moundville, all areas where we think this possible tornado touched down west and where we think there may be some damage. And that's what we're focusing on and where our storm tracker is en route to right now.
All right, Jonathan, thanks for those reports. And yeah, we started receiving some of that information there on Twitter before that warning was issued. A lot of ground truth coming in, but so far the storm reports, at least what's happening right now with this, seem to have faded a bit here as this moves into northern Tuscaloosa County and out here in the outlying areas. There's the Jefferson and Tuscaloosa County line. And let me just check in quickly with the Weather Service. We may see that warning. Looks like the Weather Service, they're going to continue that tornado warning until 7:45 here as this storm moves closer to Jefferson County. So gathering some information coming in right now. Tornado warning for Tuscaloosa County. Again, if you're in downtown Tuscaloosa, this is east of you. Birmingham, we're watching this. If you're out here around Bessemer and Hueytown, places like that, we're keeping an eye on this. This is embedded in a lot of rain, but there is some rotation that is showing up on this. When we look at this storm here and we look at the velocity, just check out what's going on here. You can see there's quite a bit of spin with this, even though it's embedded in a lot of wet weather. Look at that. There's some broad rotation still with this, and again, you know, we may see some sort of maybe a severe thunderstorm warning extended into Jefferson County. I would at least be ready here in case we see a warning that pops up out here around places like Toadvine, Oak Grove, Bull City area. You're right there on that line as this thing moves to the north and east direction. A lot of rain going on, a lot of storms, and this is a deal where you may actually get some rain, get some storms, and then this storm is going to be kind of following up some of that heavier rainfall as it moves in. It's not a kind of a in and out of here situation. There's a lot of rain still showing up on the radar with this as this tracks further north. We've been with you in Tuscaloosa. Brookwood, I can give you the all clear on that tornado warning. The actual tornadic signature has passed to the north of you, East Brookwood as well, Highway 216 area. Just based on what I'm seeing now, it looks like the worst of this has now tracked up towards Birchfield. If we still have a tornado in here, it's very difficult to pick up at this point. Actually, you know, we've got the broad rotation showing up in here. Could be some strong winds now with this around Pattersontown as this continues north. There's Abernat. Lakeview, $1 Million Lake area is back in here. There's Caffey Junction. That's Highway 2059 here back towards Vance. So this is all tracking, staying north of the Mercedes plant and basically along and north of Highway 216. If you're watching me to the north around Yellow Creek, this would be south of you between Yellow Creek area and also the interstate. And you can see some of those stronger winds now about to cross into Jefferson County right around the Bull City area. Again, as we take note of that, we actually don't have that shear marker that was showing up a few moments ago. So that's a good indication when we take a look at this as it's moving now into Jefferson County. But areas that can be expecting some of these gusty winds and some of that very heavy rainfall. There's Lock 17 Road. I gave you that first alert there around Lock 17 Road, Groundhog Road, and the Mud Creek community, all impacted by some heavy rainfall. We're not officially around the Groundhog Road, Mud Creek area in Jefferson County, not under a tornado warning at this point, but we are monitoring that storm as it moves a little bit closer. Let's check back in with Jill right now. Jill, I believe you have some new information for us.
Yeah, just been monitoring the chat, and what we've been seeing is some of that rotation just kind of occluding, and we do not expect right now that there will be another warning issued extended into Jefferson County, but that storm will be watched. So it doesn't mean that in 10 minutes from now, all of a sudden it reorganizes and then there's a new warning. Again, right now it's a little bit more disorganized, and so they're going to let that expire when it does. And then right now, the Weather Service is not planning on issuing a tornado warning for Jefferson County, but it still needs to be monitored. So please keep paying attention to us. As Wes was saying, again, especially if you're northeast of the path where we've been seeing that circulation. We're talking about Ezra, Little Shoal. We have Alliance, Vines Mill. So again, in those spots, even Mulga, Adamsville, Fairfield, Hueytown, pay close attention just in case a future warning is issued. So as of right now, they are not going to extend that warning that is happening right now across northeastern Tuscaloosa County into parts of Jefferson County. But we'll continue to monitor things. We have additional heavy rainfall. That is the other thing I wanted to hit on, touch upon here, is we have a flash flood warning morning. This does include a large portion of Tuscaloosa County, Tuscaloosa northward. We're talking about over 3 inches of rainfall. So we're already seeing that transition to the other hazard we were going to be concerned about is that potential for flash flooding. So be very careful if you have to travel overnight tonight. We've got a lot of rain still left to move on through. Want to just show you that radar real quick because again, it is very heavy back to the west, even showing you the radar out of Columbus. Again, this all has to move on through. So flooding will become an issue, but Wes, we're watching that head of the line there, watching it very closely for those spin-ups.
Yeah, and Jill, I just want to note that tornado warning has been canceled for Tuscaloosa. So with some improving weather conditions there for Tuscaloosa, it did look like that was weakening quite a bit here around Tuscaloosa County. Let's get you back out to the big picture here and just show you. If you look at this line, you can see there are several areas in here where we have some rotation that's happening. But a lot of these so far today, it's been just such a close call. And hats off to our friends at the Weather Service. I mean, they're trying to decipher some of these. They're kind of borderline. There's one right there over Tuscaloosa County that it moved through northern Hale County. We could have had that brief tornado and then the rotation kind of broadened again as it moved north. But this is the kind of day that we're seeing. You know, it's a typical spring severe weather setup. These warnings very isolated so far. Thankfully, we haven't had numerous warnings like what happened over Mississippi today, but I expect a setup like this for the rest of tonight for areas near and ahead of that line. This is what the radar looks like at the moment. You can see quite a bit of rain moving across the area from west to east. There's Coleman, heavy rain now pushing through Tuscaloosa, and that warning has expired. And as Jill noted, there's a flash flood warning for Tuscaloosa County, so that's the big concern. Watch out here around Northport. We've had one batch of heavy rain, more on the way as this all starts to train. The system is slowing down a little bit. It's going to take it a while to make its way through our area, and since we don't have an active warning, we're about to send it back to programming. But just very quickly here, I want to show you the next 60 minutes here. And what we may want to do, if you're listening in the back, we may want to, before I do that, I want to make sure if we have some additional reports that we do need to pass along. I just want to show the next 60 minutes here. You can see that the rain is really starting to pick up around the Birmingham area. So as we go through 8:30, you can see the next hour we're going to have some heavy rain impacts. So we need to watch it closely for that risk of localized flooding even further east around the city of Birmingham, also back towards Centerville. But that's what we're tracking at the moment. That tornado warning for Tuscaloosa again has been canceled. We have a flash flood warning that has now been issued for parts of Tuscaloosa County. And Jill, I want to go to you here for a second because you were watching some of those reports coming in. It seems like so far most of the reports that we're gathering, that was northern Hale County and perhaps far southern Tuscaloosa County.
Yeah, in the Brookwood area, maybe even so. So again, a lot of reports slowly trickling in. Again, it's still pouring. It is poor conditions out there, so it's just hard for folks to get around and check out where that potential damage is occurring. We're back to the Tuscaloosa camera because I'm seeing more lightning back down to the south. So we have another portion of the storm to keep a watch on. So you're still under that tornado watch, and that is for Tuscaloosa County. Again, those storms, they can quickly spin back up again. So that is something we're going to have to watch very closely here. If I go back to radar, you can see that we have a lot of activity still to move on through. Flash flooding is becoming an issue, but again, we're seeing another storm building in. This is a Tuscaloosa right here. Here's another one, so that wind's going to start to pick up again. We're starting to detect some of those stronger wind gusts with this. Again, the reflectivity showing you that heavy rainfall, but we also have that concern for some stronger wind gusts, and the shear rate does show those gusty winds. They're moving in. I mean, it doesn't always mean that this is rotating, but it's certainly pinpoints where those winds are going to be strongest. Could be over 40 miles per hour. First alert for you into the Tuscaloosa area, same place that saw that cell move right across. So you're going to be hit again with more lightning and more gusty winds. Of course, we're still seeing a signature that we'll watch for some stronger wind gusts moving in across Jefferson County. There is going to be that strong storm still, an advisory issued for Jefferson County because we're detecting some stronger winds, maybe 40 to 50 miles per hour. So we're giving you that first alert in the Mud Creek area, Ezra, Again, you have a strong thunderstorm still at this point in time. So we have several different areas that we are monitoring. Again, you can see all the counties that are under the tornado watch. Slowly but surely, they get trimmed back once that area is in the clear. But right now, again, still pretty active with a lot of rain and some embedded troublemakers, Wes.
All right, Jill, yeah, just getting a report here. Some power lines and trees down on Highway 269 in the Parish area. So even locations to the north, that's in Walker County. We've had some wind damage reports happening there. This is actually forecast radar that I was showing you, just showing you the next, you see the next hour, how this all will progress. It looks like the risk for additional tornado warnings, it's going to be isolated if we do see more additional warnings with the way this is all setting up. A lot of rain coming together, and as we expected, this is transitioning more into a flash flood threat that will unfold here tonight across the area as we continue with this first alert weather day. Let's take some of this off the screen, and what we want to do right now is get you back over to radar. The storm that prompted the tornado warning, yeah, this thing's looking a lot better from my perspective here, looking at it on the radar, more elongated. We don't see that twisting or that comma look to this thing as it moved across northern Hale County. So this is looking better. We actually have Fred Hunter, and what we're doing, we're standing by here briefly because we're going to check in with meteorologist Fred Hunter. They're actually in the storm tracker, and Jill, we might be able to put a location on that. They're getting close to where we did have some of that damage, and we're going to see if we can get some of those ground truth reports there that may be issued here very soon for northern. Actually, the last checkup, we had Fred here in Pickens County, so they're moving from Pickens County to Moundville, and they're going to bring some of those reports in here from the First Alert Storm Tracker. We're going to have them momentarily, but once again, you look at this, we just actually got another radar view, and the radar is telling us again this one storm that continues to want to rotate. It's still in here across Jefferson County. You can see right there. That thing, as it moves to the north, some times we're expecting some gusty winds, some heavy rainfall. Looks like Short Creek around 7:53 p.m., but that's at one cell. Still showing some indications there that we got a little bit of rotation going on as that moves to the north. But let's get in here now as we continue to gather information about where we might have had some damage from a tornado near Moundville. Want to check in with meteorologist Fred Hunter. Fred, you've been watching the conditions and out there in this weather across West Alabama. What do you know?
Well, Wes, as you can see on your screen, it's still raining very hard. We're on Highway 69 south of Tuscaloosa, and if you're familiar with this area, as I know you are, we're approaching the Tuscaloosa County and Hale County line. Now, we were in Cottondale as that storm that you and Jill have been tracking moved across. Some vivid lightning, some heavy rainfall there, but no apparent damage, at least. And checking in with Nick Lawley from Tuscaloosa County EMA about 5 minutes ago, he said they don't have any reports of damage right now, but he had been in touch with EMA in Hale County and kind of to reflect what had been reported earlier, about 10 homes, that's an approximation, damaged right off 52 off of Highway 69 in Hale County, south of Moundville. So that's the direction in which we are headed right now to hopefully bring you some reports and some updates. There was one person who had reportedly been trapped as a result of the damage, but that person apparently has been extracted, and other than the damage to the structures there along 52, that's all the EMA is reporting now from Hale County has happened there. But we are on Highway 69 south of Tuscaloosa, approaching the Hale County and Tuscaloosa County lines, and the damage, as we understand, is south of Moundville. So we'll be bringing you updates there. Still raining very hard, as you can see here in Tuscaloosa County, and not a lot of traffic, and that's a good thing. So as you and Jill and Lauren have been cautioning people throughout the evening, if you can at all avoid travel, this would be the night certainly to do it. Reporting live from the WBRC Fox 6 First Alert Storm Tracker, I'm meteorologist Fred Hunter. Back to you.
All right, Fred, as we continue here tracking this active weather, meteorologist Lauren Linehan just noted actually that same storm is showing signs that may be trying to kind of spin up again. We need to watch it here as it moves across Jefferson County, and it's really incredible here. It's just kind of embedded in all this rainfall, and that rain is going to help to stabilize things as this storm moves further north. Let's check in with Catherine in the newsroom. Catherine, you know, we're seeing some reports coming in. It seems like around Moundville we've had a lot of reports, but as far as East Tuscaloosa County, are you guys hearing anything?
No reports of any injuries or any structural damage in Tuscaloosa County. We just got an update from the EMA director there, but we want to show you some pictures from south of Moundville before the sun went down. So our Fred Hunter and our Mike Tucker are in Moundville right now. These are some pictures from Brandon Richards. This is the damage along Highway 69 south of Moundville. This is right where our Fred Hunter is right now. Take a look at some of the structural damage here, and you can see heavy rain there. It looks like part of a roof has blown off. We did speak with the EMA director, Russell Whedon, in Hale County about 20 minutes ago. He says 10 homes have damage. He said it, quote, looked like a tornado tore through them. Now, this is all about a mile south of Moundville on County Road 52 to Highway 69 in Moundville. Again, heavy rain there, as you could see from Fred's live shot on the storm tracker. So you really need to stay off the roads. But thankfully, no reports of any injuries there. We were told that one person was trapped, but had been rescued by the time that we spoke with the Hale County EMA. But as you said, Wes, we're getting a lot of reports of some damage and that heavy wind. And as we just said, it looked like a tornado tore through some of these structures in Hale County. But again, in Tuscaloosa County, we got an update from the EMA director, Nick Lawley. He said McFarland Boulevard at mile marker 58, he says that is flooded and it's closed. So you really need to stay off the roads because of that heavy rain there. I know flooding is going to be that problem that we're going to be looking at a lot tonight. He does say trees and power lines are down around Lock 17 Road, Highway 171 near mile marker 9. But he says no structures have been damaged and no injuries reported as of right now, Wes.
All right, thanks a lot, and we'll continue to check in with you guys there. Looks like Birmingham's issued now a flash flood warning for Green Hill, Sumter, and Tuscaloosa County. So here we go. You can see all these flash flood warnings starting to ramp up here across West Alabama. There's that one storm still showing some indications. I just want to go in really, really close, and let's try to take that live view if we can. Let's get Summerton pulled up, Jill, on the primary box. We'll go to that here in a few moments, and we'll watch this as this storm gets a little bit closer. There's Coleman, and this is now very close to Summerton in here. Some intense rainfall starting to happen. This is crossing around the Mulberry Fork area. There's Maxine, Alliance, all impacted. Flatwoods Road here, areas to the north, and let's take that off so just so you can see some of these communities. West Jefferson, this is that same cell at this point. No active tornado warning on this, but West Jefferson, the Quinton area out here around Miller Steam Plant, just be ready for some intense rainfall and some gusty winds as this moves to the north. There is Highway 269. Sylvan Springs is back in here. Places like Pleasant Grove, Hueytown, Inslee, Wylam area, that's all going to be to the south of this particular storm, but some very heavy rain that's about to track in here, giving you that first alert around West Jefferson for that storm moving to the north. There's Gorgas right there, so you can kind of get an idea of Pumpkin Center, Gorgas Community Parish. That's actually 269 right there. You can see tracking into or where that runs through Walker County. So where this storm is tracking is mainly south of Jasper at this point and about to cross out here around Highway 78 and I-22. Some heavy rainfall impacting parts of the area. Mobile, still I'm seeing a lot of warnings that are happening in areas to the south, but we're seeing a lot of reports coming in from South Alabama with some new warnings. Actually looks like some warnings being expired across South Alabama. Looks like down around Clark County and places like that. But we have a storm report of quarter-size hail earlier around Alberta City and University Mall. So we did have some reports coming in from Tuscaloosa. But I'm zoomed in right now over Jefferson and Walker counties, and I want to go over to that camera view. This is actually live right now from Summerton. Our first alert Sky Vision. That storm storm moving closer. This is Highway 78 looking south towards Birmingham, 61 degrees, over 61. So we've stabilized here in this part of the coverage area. Actually, that may be a Jasper report coming in. That's close to that Jasper METAR. So we may actually be dealing with conditions improving here very soon in Summerton. That line where we have the more unstable conditions is going to slide further south and east, and this all transitions more into a heavy rain event. But that's a live look from Summerton. We're about to send this back to programming here as we get closer to the top of the hour, but I just want to show you once again as we zoom in on areas being impacted. That is northern Jefferson, southern Walker County. That's the storm that caused some of the damage and prompted the warning for Tuscaloosa. It has greatly weakened. A little bit of broad rotation still showing up, some gusty winds. So it's going to make some noise here as it moves. I named some of those areas as it moves across West Jefferson, northern Jefferson County, right there around places like Sayre and Dora and Summerton to the north. I mentioned a few moments ago, I do expect some of the heaviest rain with that storm to stay just north of Hueytown. But let's keep a watch on what's happening. These heavier storms lining up to the south and west. This is some heavy rainfall that's going to lift in here over the next few hours. So we could see that flood risk continuing to ramp up across west and central areas. Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt, we're watching it closely for you. Meteorologist Lauren Linehan and Jill Gilardi here in the Weather Center. Fred Hunter in West Alabama. Of course, we're going to have a full report coming up at 9 o'clock, but we'll be right back here with updates at the top and bottom of the hour. Stay with WBRC Fox 6.
This has been a WBRC Fox 6 Weather First Alert.